campground. Menindee Plains, I guess. Well, good morning. Day 8. We've woken up this morning to overcast skies. So hopefully that's not a sign of rain to come. This is what our camp area looks like this morning. Not much different to what it looked like last night. We had the fire, which was cool. I'll empty the ash out of that shortly. Won't be lighting that this morning. That's what the river looks like this morning. So it's all very nice. But a little bit of a contrast to yesterday afternoon. So we'll get about the day, get our breakfasty things done and get organised. Not a lot else to show you just yet. This is Lake Pamamaru, one of the Menindee Lakes. We don't see them this full of water very often, so we're very lucky at the moment. Burke and Will's campsite. A little bit significant in this area because that is where Burke and Will's camped when they were around this area. Well, continuing on day 8, we're just outside Menindee after packing up camp. So we thought we'd come for a look at Kinchiga National Park. Kinchega, pretty sure that's what it's called. And we were going to do a drive called the Emu Lake Drive, but Emu Lake Drive is closed. So what we'll do is Lake Drive, and we'll probably see what campsites there are in there too. Not that we're going to camp there, because we're not, but I figure it's a national park very, very close to Menindee Lakes, so I want to go for a look. We do have a current national parks pass, so how good is that? Park fees, camp information, historic woolshed visitor centre, no dogs permitted. Well, it makes sense, it is a national park. And they've got 1080 laid out. Geez, you wouldn't want your dog to get onto that. Horrible way for a puppy to go. Alright, we're going to go for a look in there and we will show you what we can as we go. There's Kaz, she's been doing all the obligatory photos. The information centre here for Kinchega. Obviously it's got all the COVID signs and stuff on it. Welcome to Kinchiga National Park. The park covering area of 44,000 hectares was once part of the Kinchiga Cars pastoral lease, held by the Hughes family since 1870. At its grandest, the property extended from Menindee to Broken Hill. Well, and covered an area of 800,000 hectares. In 1967, the Kinchiga section of the then Cars lease was dedicated as a national park. The Menindee area was and still is a focal point for the Pooncarie and Menindee people because of its close proximity to the Darling River, Menindee Lakes and the Au.Ra branch system. The park is co-managed by National Parks and Wildfires and the Menindee Elders Council. So, geez, 800,000 hectares. So lots of pictures showing how things were. That's all the pastoral side. Over here is more of the indigenous side. So there's lots to read about this place. I haven't got time to read it all for you. I'm sure most of it, like everything, is available on the interweb. Sorry to keep saying that, guys, but that's the reality, I think. A lot of it is available. There's camping in this national park. It's paid camping. So $8 per vehicle by the look of it. So not too bad. That's probably per day, I'd imagine. So not bad. Where we are at the information centre is at the top of another weir. So there's a big managed lake system, this. It's a lot of weirs. The whole thing's pretty impressive, really. Especially when you think that the Darling River is in amongst all these lakes and gets released to still be the Darling River. So I'm not sure what this is, but on this side is a lake. And if you can hear it in the background there, there's water running through. That concrete building, I dare say, is where the release point for the water is. Quite loud here. Can't really see it, if you can hear it. And then this road is obviously on top of the levee system that releases the water. So we're coming out the other side, and here's the outlet. Very much like the one where we were camped earlier. In fact, almost identical. So that's releasing water. And yes, that's the Darling River, Lake Menindee outlet regulator. So there's actually a hell of a lot of entrances into the Darling from the lake system. So that's a look at this bit. So we'll take you around the park, show you that, and we'll see you a little bit later. Okay, we've taken the River Drive in the national park now, Kinchega, and I was going to do a spotlight on campgrounds in here, but the way it's laid out along the river, there is campground after campground, like the individual sites. So it's not a campground, it's a whole bunch of campsites, which makes it impractical for me to do a spotlight on campgrounds. But if you book your sites here at the national park, and I did see a ranger, so there are people around checking, I guess you could get a campsite alongside the river quite easily. So I'm just giving you a quick look through here. We're just doing the river drive because why not? The river's quite pretty. Yes, it's brown like every river has been on this trip, but
it's huge though.
It's big, it's up.
It's up.
Now this is a little bit downstream from where we camped. So I figure the Darling River Run is a Darling River Run, but I want to show you a few things that are available for you to look at when you're in the area. Menindee Lakes itself is a pretty popular area. I'm here right at the beginning of a long weekend, so there's a lot of people camped around in different areas. It's quite nice. Nice overcast day today, so it should be a bit cooler. It's only 21 degrees outside, which is quite pleasant. We've been dealing with 31 most of the week. That's not too bad today. So unfortunately, obviously, this footage doesn't look as pretty as it does when you've got nice blue skies and stuff. Like here's a empty camp spot site. I'll give you a quick look at this. So this one's not real big, but you can do a camper trailer or your tent camp in here. But there are some big, oh, you could get a van in there. There are bigger ones. Well, we've passed a couple of bigger ones, yeah, but I can't possibly do a spotlight on campgrounds on half a national park. As part of the wander around Kinchiga National Park, we've done a big lump of the river drive. We've come to this info board here, which tells us we're at the old Kinchiga Homestead and Homestead Billabong. So it does look like there's a lot of the homestead left, but we'll go and have a look at it anyway. There is a Billabong walk that we're not going to do today, but we can do the homestead walk, which looks like it's not very long. So we'll go for a quick walk around it, because we might as well. So what do we need to know about here? Welcome to the ruins of the second Kinchiga homestead, which was probably established here in the 1870s. Its location on a billabong in the river meant floodwaters could be trapped behind a simple dam regulator on the main riverbank for use in the dry seasons. Massive floods in 1956 inundated the property, however, and prompted the household to relocate to dry ground alongside the Kinchiga woolshed. So there you go. So obviously back in the day, Kinchiga must have been a property, a pastoral lease or something. I'm sure all this info is available for you on the interwebs. But we're checking it out anyway. And the reason we're not going to do the big longer walk is because we still have to find our way down a dramatic distance today and find camp at some stage. Kinchiga Homestead. First occupied in the 1850s, changed considerably until its abandonment in 1956. The photo here, that's sort of what it looked like. As we said, they abandoned it in the floods. So it's a bit of wandering around here. Some tin from old tanks and things. So they've made this nice elevated platform I'm going to walk around, which would be around the main homestead site. It's kind of funny, I'm sure it normally feels very desolate and arid, but because it's overcast today, it's quite pleasant. So you don't get that we've a never outback feeling. I'm sure if it was 31 and sunny, you would. Probably enough of me gibbering on there. Anyway, we'll see in a while. Right, we've made it out to the Kinchiga wool sheds. There's a whole bunch of buildings here. I thought it was just the wool sheds, but not so. This heritage board here shows you this little shed in front of us, which is the killing shed. So obviously they had to provide their own food, so that's where they did the killing. Now you can hear that pump there. That's obviously an electric one now, but the old Southern Cross windmill is still there, so that's pretty cool. A few people out here, guys, but we'll take you around the bits we can. Some old machinery there. So that's what is that? There's a wheel mounted boiler. Used to power machine, and so they could fire up their boilers and steam power elsewhere. You can stay out here by the look of it. There's marked dongers. They're air conditioned, so obviously you must be able to come out here and stay. This is the cookhouse. So there's a lot of history about this old Kinchega homestead, or Kinchega woolshed complex anyway, but I'm assuming, in fact they'd have to be, these must have been all the old shearers' quarters, and it does look like you can stay here. Yeah.
But not unless you're over COVID and all that.
Yeah, so there's a guest kitchen, so yes, you can definitely stay here if that's what you're into. And well, I guess why not? So, yeah, shearers' quarters, I was right. So obviously some updated, more modern gear in here. Like the amenities, men's ladies shower blocks, men's and ladies toilet blocks over there, makes sense. The rest of the shearers' quarters. So lots of stuff to see. There's information and stuff in there too. So we'll go over here and have a look at the wool shed. I'll see you then. You can't go in up top anymore. You can see what the structure's like under the floor. And with the aid of selfie sticks, you can fly in there. But I'll give you a look at what that looked like in there. That's the, where all the sheep and stuff would have gone in. These, I'm guessing, are the chutes after the shearers are done with them and the sheep come back out. So, pretty interesting. I guess that's the way they help keep count of them too, I suppose. And they're in the little pen behind each shearer's door. Just walking around the basics of the complex here. Would have been a big enterprise in the day. So it's a steam traction engine. I found my way in here. Let's see what's in this bit. This looks like where they were sharpening things as a tool shop or something. But you can get into the shearing shed this side. This is impressive. This is the where the shearers did their work. It would have been the pens where they were all penned in, waiting to be collected by said shearers. This is the, obviously, the classifying section. I throw the fleeces out, categorise them, and the wool press for baling them right in front of you. And some old carts to show you, or to transport the gear. This side is the same as the other side, only hasn't got all the machinery, so you can see all the chutes there. So you have shearers on both sides of the shed, sheep coming into the middle, into the individual pens, and then the shearers would collect them at the gate there and shear them out in this bit. It's like a whole big process. I'm guessing a modern shearing shed is probably not dramatically different, just obviously more modern. The layout's probably very similar, I'd imagine. The 1890s, 62 stands. That's quite a few. Wow. And of course, being on the Darling, that's how they transport their wool. So, pretty impressive. So it's definitely worth a look. So if you're coming out to the Menindee Lakes area, come into Kinchega National Park, come and have a look at his shed, as it's something to be seen.
Oh, there we go.
So,
1875.
1875.
The wool shed was finished.
That was when the wool shed was finished. Kaz is relaying stuff in the background. Anyway, that's the shed behind me. You can see. So if you are in Kinchiga National Park, then you should come in for a look if you're into this stuff. That's it. Well worth it. So next time you're in the Menindee Lakes area, consider coming here for a look. Anyway, we're going to continue on our way and we'll see you in a while. Right, we've arrived in the town of Pooncarie. Now there hasn't been a lot to show you since we left Menindee and the national park, because it was just dirt road and tracks exactly like we showed you before. But what we have done is being as how Pooncarie is the next town on the Darling River run, we have found our obligatory sign. Because you've got to find it. There's an old wharf down here too somewhere. We'll see if we can find that in a minute. So here's our obligatory sign. Pooncarie, commonly known as the Port of Pooncarie, as it was the first named, was originally part of the Aboriginal Paginji people's land. Later spelling of a name changed to Pooncarie, and then to the current spelling of Pooncarie. Okay, prior to the settlement in 1863, the Burke and Rawls expedition camped in the area 3 years earlier. By 1889, Pooncarie boasted a general store, post office, police station, a school, 2 pubs and a number of houses. Although land was set aside for a church, it was never built. The original general store can still be seen in the main street. The original post office still stands, now an occupied house next to the current post office. Pooncarie's old wharf site at this location was a natural wharf on the Darling, where local farmers loaded wool onto steamboats and barges to be taken down the river for sale. The old cemetery is a place of interest with its history and remains of the Rodney, a paddle steamer burnt by local shearers when bringing non-union labour to the area in 1894, situated 30 kilometres north of town on Pollia Station. Since the demise of the steamboats, Pooncarie has downsized to a town of approximately 60 residents. So there you go. Only 60 odd people live here now. And that was the info sign. So that's always good to know about. And the wharf's a natural wharf, so this is the old wharf site here we're heading down to, which I'll show you in a second. What I was going to mention is we drove into Pooncarie. Just in this street is some public toilets, which is not that exciting. But what is exciting, if you're travelling and might be of use to some people, is the fact that they have showers. They're small coin operated showers, but they have showers. That's always useful. Well, I'll spin you around again. And this would be the old wharf site. So obviously it was just easy to come straight up to the side of the banks here with your steamer. It would have just been some timber out in front of us here to make the wharf out to the edge. Yeah. And apparently where the sign is now is 4 metres deep, but it's been up well over that, so yeah, so same as everywhere on the Darling system. It's still fairly flooded, although not as flooded as it has been, because I'm walking on some what's obviously recently been wet flooded areas. When it was at that, it would have been at 5-6 metres to get to there, so it's dropped 2 metres. That's like a wavelength. The nerds will get that. So that's quite a pretty place. It's only a small town, not much going on, but it's part of our continuing Darling River excursion. So hope you're enjoying this, guys. We're not too far from the end of it realistically, but it's not bad. Alright, we will. Yeah, there's flood signs going considerably higher up the bank, as Karen was pointing out, to give you some ideas of how high it can get. We've still got the flood signs here at 8 metres. Yeah, it can get high. Wow, so getting 10 metres up here where we are. And the fact they would put a flood sign up to there shows you how deep it can get. There's a cafe in town.
That's the only thing that's open today.
It's the only thing that's open in the whole place, as we're here on Good Friday. So, that's pretty cool. Anyway, we will continue having a look around, but don't think there's a lot much more we can show you at the moment, so we'll catch up here further down. Well, Kaz and I, there she is.
Here we are.
We've made it to Wentworth, to where the Darling River starts or finishes, depending on your point of view. I suppose finishes would be the correct term, because we've been going downstream. So we found the Darling River sign. Now this one, of course, is a bit bigger than the Darling River Run signs that we've been checking out on the way. So Wentworth was named after New South Wales explorer and politician William Charles Wentworth when the town was proclaimed on 21st of June 1859. Wentworth is the region's oldest town, located at the junction of Australia's two largest rivers, where the Darling ends and joins the Murray. Its location made Wentworth an important port in the paddle steamer era. Once the busiest inland port in New South Wales, it was considered as the site for the Australian capital. Wow. So that is pretty well the end of it. Now, I'm not quite finishing the trip just yet, because we'll go and check out the viewing platform, because there is a viewing platform we can see over the Darling and the Murray converging. So we'll go and find that, and we'll get back to you very soon. But check out the river down here. We've driven over a bridge on the Darling River to get here. Get away this place. No wonder it's a great area for bloody boats and stuff. Have a look at the amount of water that's here. It's massive. It's a vast amount of water. It's big. It's huge. It's bigger than my ego. It's big. Alright, we're going to go and find the viewing platform and give you a look at that. We haven't got the observation centre yet, but here we are. Another sign. Welcome to Australia's Great Rivers. Murray, Darling confluence. So we're going to go up the observation deck now. So it's really the climax of the whole thing. So we'll show you what it's like when we get up there. Right, coming up the observation deck is this spiral staircase. I'm not going to make you watch me walk up the spiral staircase, but we'll show you when we get up there. We've made it to the top. Just where that jet ski is coming from, that's the Murray. Just on the left, that's the Darling. So this is the actual final point of our journey. So, hopefully you've enjoyed this trip, guys. Kaz and I certainly have.
It's been great.
It's been great fun. And we're going to go and find a campsite now, because we've got no idea where we're staying tonight. So, thanks for watching. If you like this video, put a like on it. If you're new here, consider subscribing. Click the notification bell, you'll know when a new clip comes up. And to the old hands, thanks as always for taking the time out of your day to watch one of my clips. And like we say here, just get out there, enjoy the bush, and we'll see you on the next one. So cheers from me.
And cheers for me.
Talk to you soon. Have fun, guys. See ya. Well, as I just said, past self, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, I won't make you listen to that again. Just wanted to let you know that all the photos that we took from this entire trip are available for viewing on Mud Ducks 4-Wheel Drive Touring on Facebook. If you're interested in any of our merchandise, go across to Mud Ducks 4-Wheel Drive Touring.company.site and check it out there. And thanks for the support as always, everybody, and we will see you for whatever the next thing we put up is. Probably a spotlight. We'll see you on the next one anyway. Cheers, guys. All the best. On the long journey home from Wentworth after the Darling River run, we're, I don't know, middle of nowhere, a place called Waterfall or Wheathall or something like that, not sure. Whatever it's called, as part of our continuing excursions around the country, we found a painted silo. So I thought I'd better give you a look at this. So, how cool is that? Big shearer, some sheep, the wheat. So, it's pretty good. I think I'd like to eventually get as many of these things documented as I can. So I have no idea where I'm going to put this in the video, probably at the end I suppose. Extras, whatever. But I figure you got to check these things out, you know, you got to stop, have a look at them. A lot of effort gone to paint them that way, so at least we can do is check them out. Okay, as part of, I don't know why she's doing this. Kaz is out of the shot being silly.